Well, hey guys, today we're talking colony traps for muskrats. You know, when you think about muskrat trapping, a lot of times people are thinking 110 conifers or, you know, #1 coil springs or something to that effect, where it's a one-time catch tool at the time. You'll catch your animal, you'll reset and catch another one. Really what a colony trap is, it's kind of a multiplier, I guess, of sorts. You know, whether it's set up against a bank den, they can come out of the bank and go into the trap and get stuck, or if they're going to go back into the run, they come in this direction here and they get stuck. And you can actually, you know, stack 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, whatever, depending on how big the colony trap actually is. You can get quite a few muskrats inside these cages. So today, this one here is just a little 6x7, and I want to say 25 inches long, 25 1/4. We are going to build a little bit bigger one here. All you're doing is just you go to your local Fleet Farm or hardware store or whatever and just get yourself some, you know, fencing. In this case here, it's a 1/2 inch square. I don't know the gauge on it, but kind of the stiffer it is, the easier it is to work with to an extent. One thing I will point out is when you're making your cuts on these, you'll see you get these little end pieces. Get rid of them. Get as close as you possibly can, because if you don't, it's actually going to catch on your cage itself, and ultimately what will happen is your door will open up freely and then it'll stay up, making it for an easy escape. The one we're making right now is, I do believe I cut this one, it's a little over 24 inches by 36 inches. So what it's going to be a 6x6 by 36 inch long cage. So first thing I like to do is when you get your fencing, it's going to come in a roll. It's going to be really tightly woven, and it's going to be a bear to work with. So what I'll do is I'll actually unroll it or unravel it face down and basically reverse roll it to get it to be a lot more flat and therefore easier to work with. From here, it's literally just finding your 6-inch spots, getting a flat edge that'll actually work for you, and just start folding. And you'll end up repeating this until you get to basically making a box. So in this particular case, I'm going to go about here. If you're not sure if your lines are right, by all means measure again, because rebending wire over and over again doesn't really work too well. So, and of course you got your last 6. A lot of times I'll come at it from the other side just to make it a little bit easier to work with. This takes a little while to get used to build these things. You know, I haven't built them for a couple years now, so I'm a little bit rusty myself. Now, some of the other tools that you're going to need are just these wire cage clips. You can get them again at Fleet Farm, or a lot of your pet stores even have them. And then they have the wire clip pliers that come that you can get there as well. And what I like to do is actually space them out just kind of at random. I'll definitely hit both ends, and then figure out how sturdy this thing is going to be towards the end there, because sometimes, again, if you're using some of the thinner gauge wire, they'll be able to find a gap in it, I guess, and push their way out, and that's kind of defeats the purpose as well. So I'll start on the ends a lot of times. And then just pick random spots. Me, I think more is better than less. I'd rather spend the money on these clips because they're really not that expensive anyway. You know, just a few bucks for a bag. So, and this is a reusable resource. So once you get them built, you can use them for, you know, several years, unless of course you catch something a lot more significant in there and it destroys your trap, which I haven't had happen yet. More often than not, what'll happen is they'll just get destroyed in storage versus, you know, destroyed by an animal. So pretty much all you do is just keep repeating the process until you get the correct amount of clips in place, which I'm almost there, so bear with me. That'll be good for now. I'll probably add a couple more afterwards here. But just square off your trap, get it where you want it to be. Doesn't even have to be square necessarily, but sometimes it does make it a little easier to work with, especially when, you know, sticking in the runs and whatnot. So once you get your trap formed the way that you'll want it to be formed, that's when, again, you'll just do a quick measurement again to figure out what your dimensions are. And actually, oddly enough, I'm sitting at a 7x7, which is kind of ironic considering, whatever. 5-inch should still work. So what I'll do is I'll end up just cutting this directly in half. So it's at 20. I'll cut it at 10. And then again, you got these little clips on the other one that I said you wanted to get rid of. Take a couple more of these little clips, making sure that your door is in backwards. Let me just flatten this piece out again. It's already in facing like this ahead of time. Otherwise, you're going to have some problems. Every now and then you'll get a bad clip. Just replace it. There's one. You don't need a ton of these for the doorway. Just 2 clips, 3 clips. I like to put one in the middle as well, just because I like it to be solid and level and last longer. Flip her around. I've got some little clippies here on the end, the little tails, so I want to get rid of those on this one as well. Otherwise they will catch. Clip her down. Clip her down, and then the last clip. Now what'll end up happening is, again, whether they're coming out of the runs or they're going in, or coming out of their den rather, into the run, or trying to go into their den from the run, they'll swim through and they'll get stuck on the inside. You know, they can't actually make it out the other end. They get caught in here, they'll turn around, they'll try to come back, and ultimately they'll drown inside the cage. So there you have it. There's 2 different sizes that you can work with. The sky is pretty much the limit with these things. Obviously, you got to look at your state regulations on what you can do and what you can't do with colony traps. Some states allow them, some states don't. Some states also restrict the overall size of them that you can use. Other states don't. Now, naturally, the bigger the colony trap, the more muskrat you can have in that colony trap. So, you know, if you're building, you'll see on other YouTube channels double designs where they're double width, so they can go in there and swim between 2 or 3 different width wise, and then they have just the one entrance, you know, maybe 36 inches wide or something to that effect, and they can catch, you know, 20, 30 rats in these cages. So Minnesota, I don't believe we can use them that big. I think 6x6 or 7x7 by whatever is pretty much about it for us. And again, I check my traps daily anyway, even though we have a 72-hour check on kill traps, I guess if you will. So, but I still check them every single day because, you know, I'm out there to get the fur, not to let it go to waste. So I hope this video helped you, and if not, well, let me know how I can improve it. And if it did help you, please share with your friends, and catch y'all later.